This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, Rabbi Glatstein. We're learning Maseches Chagigah, Daf Tezvav Amud Aleph. We're learning about the four people who are nichnas lepardes. Arba nichnasu lepardes. Ben Azai, Ben Zoyma, Acher, and Rabbi Akiva. We're learning about Acher. Acher, when he went up to Shamayim, he was very disturbed by the fact that he saw the Malach Metatron who was sitting, and he had a question. Now we have a tradition that in Shamayim there's no sitting, and he said, "What's going on? Only God could sit." And he thought, Chas Hashem, there are two Rishuyos. So they took Metatron out and they inflicted him with 60 blows, and they screamed at him, but they allowed Metatron to erase all the merits, all the mitzvahs of Acher. In fact, the Baskal went out and the Baskal said everyone could do tshuva except for Acher. Shuvu banim shayvavim chutz me Acher. And Acher said, well, once I'm out of the next world, I might as well enjoy this world. So he found the Zoyna and he requested her, and she says, aren't you Elisha ben Avuya? Aren't you the great Gadol Hadar? And he was Mechal Shabbos b'far Hesya. Yeah? Mechal Shabbos b'far Hesya. And he gave it to her, and she said, he must be Acher, he must be somebody else. He must be somebody else. Okay. Says the Gemara continued, Acher asked Meir different shilos, and now we are up to...
I don't understand. He sort of has excommunicated. He's not Torah, how come he...
Well, he has not been put in cherem. Just the Baskal said that anyone could do tshuva except for Acher. Now, what does that mean, anyone could do tshuva except for Acher? What that means is that not Chas Hashem that Acher can't do tshuva, but Hashem will assist anyone to do tshuva. He will not assist Elisha ben Avuya. He will not assist. But if Acher wanted to do tshuva, the gates are open. Okay. Says the Gemara, Shoel Acher es Meir, Liacher sheyatzu tarbasra. We're about 12 lines from the bottom. First word on line is Shoel Acher. Yeah? Shoel Acher. So right, we're on Daf Tezvav Amanaf. I want to remind everyone, turn off your phones, remove them, take them away. It should not be seen. Okay? Shoel Acher es Meir, Liacher sheyatzu tarbasra. Acher asked Meir after he went off the derech, Ma'idachsev, what does it mean? Lo ya'archena zahav. You cannot equal Torah to gold, u'zechuches and to glass, u'tmuras, it cannot be exchanged, klipas, with fine valuables. In other words, there's no exchange rate on the Torah. It doesn't have a value. You can't exchange it for anything. Amar Loi, so he said to him, Elu divrei Torah. These are the words of Torah. This is what Meir said. Shekashen leknoisen keklizav uklipaz. It's not easy to acquire Torah. Torah needs to be. It's a lot of amelos, a lot of difficulty, right? It has to be. You have to have your Gemara in front of you, all electronic equipment away, especially phones, and except for the Bluetooth, and so that's the. Torah requires a lot of amelos, a lot of focus, a lot of hard work. So it's hard to acquire. However, it's easy to lose. It's easy to lose like fine crystal. Yeah, when I got married, you got a lot of... I still have all my challah knives, except I have like 5 challah knives. Only one of them broke. But crystal, they're all gone. I don't think I have any left. In fact, right before Sukkot, my wife had to buy new cups. I did not have one glass cup left. Even though when I got married, I was thinking, why is everyone giving me glass cups? But now they're all gone.
You said a lot of mazel.
What? Not one glass cup left. And they could break.
So your wife wants to use plastic, so I don't have to worry.
I'm all for that. But you could hold them. I remember one time you're just holding it and it just cracks in your hand. They're very, very delicate. So Torah is easy to acquire. It's hard to acquire like gold. and easy to lose like glass, yeah? So says Acher, no, you got the wrong pshat. You might be a mammon, I might be a apikaris, but I'm right. Amar loy. So Acher says to Meir, Rabbi Kiva Rabach loy Amar kach. Right? We know Rabbi Meir was a Talmud Rabbi Kiva. The Gemara in Yevamah says that Rabbi Kiva went to Rabbi Seinu Shavadarim, to Rabbi Meir, to Rabbi Yosi, to Rabbi Yeshua, to Rabbi Shimon, and to Rabbi Lazar. And Rabbi Kiva, your Rebbe, Acher says to Rabbi Meir, loy Amar kach. He didn't tell you this. Elama, klizav, klizachuchis. Afal pisha nishbaru yesh lahem takana. Gold and glass, even though they break, they could be fixed. Yeah? Now, how do they fix them?
They melted.
You melt it and you reconstitute it. Av Talmud Chacham says Acher, so to a Torah scholar. Afal pisha sarach, even though he makes a mistake, yesh le takana. He has a takana. He could correct himself. He could do tshuva. He could fix himself. That's Acher telling Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir says, no, the word's out of the mouth, right? You listen to what you're saying. Amalai, Avata chazar b'cha. So do tshuva. Right? Sometimes, God sends messages through unlikely sources. Sometimes through your own mouth. It's like there was a woman who came to Rishon Zaman Orbach. The woman, she was a Balas tshuva, completely secular, and she began to become frum. And she got married, and she became pregnant, and she wanted to have an abortion. So her teacher didn't exactly know how to explain to her that you can't have an abortion. So he sent her to Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach to get a bracha, right? So Rav Shlomo Zalman says to her, why do you want to have an abortion? So she says, I want to be a doctor. And this career path, I don't have time to deal with the child. So Rav Shlomo Zalman said, and why do you want to become a doctor? And she's looking at him. She said, duh, because I want to save lives. And Shlomo Zalman looks at her and says, why would you want to save lives? And she's looking at him like, this man's supposed to be smart? Why do I want to save lives? He says, because the most important thing in the world is to save a life. And he's looking at her, and she's looking at him. And then she realizes what she said, right? And she said, "Oh, but this is different. This is different,
Not a life yet,
right?" So. But sometimes, God sends the most unlikeliest messages through your own mouth. So Meir says, "Amalai, afatach hazar b'cha. If a Talmid Chacham could do tshuva, so do tshuva." Amalai, no, I can't do tshuva. Kvar shamati me'acharei hapargod. I already heard from behind the curtain. Shuvu banim shayvavim. Chutz me'acher. Every wayward son could do tshuva except for Acher.
So how can, if it was so ironclad, how can he still do tshuva? And you say even he can do tshuva, but God won't help. But he didn't know that, or did he know that?
Did he know that he could do tshuva? Apparently, it would seem that he was probably smart enough to realize that if he wanted to do tshuva, he could have. But probably the fact that Rebbe Shalom made this statement that I'm not going to help you was so demoralizing that put him in a matzav that he felt he couldn't do it.
But he made this statement while he was on this earth, right?
Yeah.
Right? But he was a Russia by now, right? He had gone off the derech.
Right.
Yet he had the ability to hear from behind the curtain?
No, he heard from behind the curtain up there in Shemayim.
Once get there and back.
Wait. So
3 weights.
No, once he was investigating, right, they were nichnas lepardes. What does it mean nichnas lepardes? Their minds elevated to heaven. And while there, Acher was overwhelmed. His capacity was overwhelmed by the experience, and he did not have the faculties to fully absorb what was taking place, and because of that, he could not really come to terms with what was going on over there, and he made a mistake, a heretical mistake, and when he made that mistake, he heard them cry out in Shemayim, everyone could do tshuva except for Acher. Okay, Tan Rabban. Ma'aseh v'Acher, a story, right? A story. Shahir roichev ala sus b'Shabbos. Acher was riding on a horse on Shabbos.
That is your Rabbanan?
V'haya Reb Meir mahalech acharav. And Reb Meir was walking after him. Listen to the story first. So Meir was going after him.
On Shabbos.
Lil Moed Torah. So Acher was riding on a horse, and Reb Meir was walking after him. Mahalach Acharav Lil Moed Torah mipip. He was going to learn Torah from his mouth.
From Acher's mouth.
Yeah. Reb Meir was continued to learn Torah from Acher. The Gemara on Amud Beis will deal with how could Reb Meir continue to learn Torah from Acher. Amar Loi, so at a certain point, they got up to the Tchum Shabbos. Amar Loi, Meir, Chazar Lacharecha. Return. Shekvar Shiarti V'ikfei Susi. I've been counting the footsteps of my horse. Ad Kan Tchum Shabbos. I know I don't care, but I don't want to cause you distress. I don't want to cause you heartache. So you have to go back. Chazar B'cha, go back. Return. So our Meir says, you also return. Return, you should really return. You need to return to your Father in heaven. I already told you, Reb Meir, that I can't do tshuva.
I'm a lost cause.
Yeah, lost cause. Takfei. So Reb Meir grabbed Acher. He grabbed him. He schlepped into the Beis Medrash. Hoping that somehow the old memories of the Beis Medrash would snap him out of his funk.
What happened to the horse?
What?
What happened to the horse?
He schlepped him. What happened to the horse? The horse is now, they went to Aqueduct, and he won the Triple Crown. I don't know what happened to the horse.
Okay.
Right?
They don't run the Triple Crown in Aqueduct.
No. That's why I wasn't serious, right? Amar le Yanuka. He said to the child, Acher said, look, this is not happening for me. He went to a kid, and we know there's some kind of supernatural means. If somebody doesn't know what to do, they could ask a kid what they're learning, and the pasuk the kid says is somehow prophetic message. He said, Psok li psukecha, tell me what pasuk you're learning. Amar loi. So the kid said, I'm learning a pasuk in Yeshaya. Ein shalom amar Hashem la rishayim. God says to the wicked, there's no peace. In other words, usually when you come to a Beis Medrash, the people are very friendly. They say, Shalom Aleichem. Acher comes to the Beis Medrash, the kid says, by the way, God tells you that you're not wanted here. Ein Shalom Amar Hashem L'Shem. So Acher says to Meir, told you. Right? Aile Lebei Kinishta. They go to another shul. Maybe, Meir said, nah, this shul, they're Kanoim. Let's go to a different shul. Amar Le Yanuka, Psok Li Psukach Amar Loi. Even if you wash yourself with niter, and use a lot of soap, bar soap, liquid soap, body wash, whatever you want to use, your sin is stained before me. So that's the second message, I guess. Basically, you could shower from today till doomsday. Yeah, you're not getting the sin off.
So here it's being piled on that he cannot do tshuva. And you're saying that God said, you can, but I won't help you.
Right.
So why keep hocking at him that he cannot? God doesn't want him anymore.
God is saying that I stay out of it. But a person always has free choice. And like the Shla says, Kol ma she'amar lecha bal habayis aseh, chutz mitzeh. Who's the Baal Habayis? God. Whatever he tells you, you listen. But when he tells you to get lost, you say no. The gates of Chua are always open.
If you tell a student, you're no good, you'll never learn, you're dumb, what's going to happen?
You get fired.
Believe it.
Fired.
Reverse psychology.
He's going to believe it.
We'll do the opposite.
They don't get fired anymore. He's going to believe it, and the trial will go off. They should get fired, but they don't.
On his level, at least that was his Messiah.
Look, Acher put himself in that matzav. Acher deserved not to be assisted anymore. He should not have entered the paradise on his level. He was not roy to be nichnas the paradise. So he went to another shul. He figured maybe I'll try a different shul.
Young Israel.
Yeah, a different affiliation. Aile lebe knishta, he went to Achriti. Amar le Nuka, Psokli Psukecha. Nu, tell me the pasuk. Amar le, Biat, Shadud, you plundered one. Ma tasi. What do you think you're going to do already? Ki tobashi shani. Even if you wear scarlet. Kisadi adizav. Even if you don an ornament of gold. Kisikri bapuch einayach. Even if you paint your eyes with mascara. La shav tisyapi. You beautify yourself for nothing. In other words, I don't care how you adorn yourself, what kind of cosmetics you use, how beautiful you make yourself. It's worthless. So Meir says, try a different shul. Maybe go out to the west coast, yeah? Go to another shul. He went to Ad the Aile Letzleisar Bey Knishta. He went to 13 shuls. Why 13?
13
Maybe you want me to Sarachman, maybe?
Number.
Kulu Psokuleki Hagana. They all basically said the same thing.
They all knew about him.
No, all the boys
Oh, they all had the
supernaturally were up to a pasuk that was a rejecting pasuk.
They go mashma. They're going Tanakh. These
Yeah, they did know. These people, they knew Torah. Yeah.
What about the Ahatul Areach HaKamol?
No. He went to innocent kids. Where are you up to? So the kid's like, oh. The kid doesn't know who Acher is. The kid doesn't know anything. The kid just says the next pasuk.
But the shul administration, they followed what the pasuk of the kid said. They didn't try and say, "Oh, maybe somehow we can."
They didn't get. Why didn't they get word before and convince them?
Revive him.
Shuta Kimashmai. He went in to use this methodology. Presumably, the fact that the Hashgacha had it at all 13 shuls gave him a message like this. Oh, but Adam v'derech she'adam roitza leilech meilichen oisai. Apparently, Acher did not have the desire to do tshuva, and Hashem.
Well, he went to 13 different shuls.
But Meir schlepped him in. Meir was pulling him.
But if he really didn't have a desire, would have told Rebbe to get lost. I mean, we have cases like Rish Lakish. He was like a goblin or a gadol.
Yeah.
A good part of his life.
Right.
And yet, look what kind of a turn happened with Rish Lakish. And yet, Acher had a good part of his life that was steeped in Torah.
Right.
So, and he made a turn. If we don't.
By the way, the Rabbeinu Hananel in your Gemaras, in your beautiful edition of Oiz V'Hadar Gemaras that were generously sponsored by all the Nadvanim, it's brought down, look, on the top right-hand column of Rabbeinu Hananel, he brings down that what was Acher's problem? Like, why did he go off? It wasn't just that he had this overwhelming spiritual experience. He had a certain tina b'libai. Why?
What's a tina?
Tina. He had impurity in his heart. Pagam. You know where did it come from? He sang Goyish music.
Yeah.
He sang Goyish.
When he was a kid, he was exposed to Zemer Yavani. That's the first thing.
That had the power to overthrow.
Now, that's the whole.
He stayed in Torah for so many years. He was one of the Gedolim.
Thank you. There you go. Music is very powerful. And the person, I like the tune. Now you have to. It's a sugya. We once actually had a share on it. Xmas 4 years ago, we gave a share on this. But the question is, what kind of songs were they? Were they apikarsa songs? Some say they were songs of taiva. Now, the music today, Goyish music today, falls under all of those categories. The words are malei taiva. Malay Znos, Malay Ritzicha.
It's not music.
What?
It's not music.
Yeah.
After the days when we were younger, they didn't have that.
Yeah. Okay, look.
Slow,
and
emotional.
Listen to what he says. He used to carry books of apikarsis with him, and as he's walking, they would fall out of his pockets.
Why would he carry the book? While he was in yeshiva, he carried the book.
When?
Under the table.
I don't know. Look. I remember when I was in yeshiva. When I was in yeshiva, not during learning, but I remember there's a guy in the back left corner. I remember very clearly. It was a warm day, and he was sitting there like this. And the teacher was not that dumb, and he's wondering why. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was after 1:00, and he had the wiring up his sleeve, Okay, but v'hamevin yamin. Okay, fine. So the Gemara says,
Listen to baseball game.
Amarle psokli psukech. Tell me your pasuk. 1 second. Lebasra, the final guy, he said to Amarle psokli psukech. Tell me your pasuk. Amarle v'larasha amar elakim ma'alecha l'saper chukai. The final kid told him, to the Rasha, God says, don't learn Torah. I don't want you to learn Torah. Now, that kid was a mumbler. He didn't speak clearly. Ishtama kamada amrale. It sounded as if he said, Villa Alisha amar alekim. Not Villa Rasha amar alekim malachasa. Not God says to the wicked man, why are you learning? Villa Alisha amar alekim. That God says to Elisha, why are you learning? So you could imagine that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Ikad Amri. One opinion is Sakina Hava Bahadeh. He had a knife on him. Yeah. Vikare. He dismembered the kid.
Right.
He chopped up the kid. Yeah. V'shadrei l'tleis arbei knishta. And he sent it to 13 shuls. V'ikad Amri.
13 that he went to, I guess.
Wait a
I
minute.
would assume so. Yeah.
No one stopped him? He wasn't arrested? He chopped up the kid?
Apparently, he was not arrested.
That's
One
the first. Ika the Amri.
Apparently, he was not arrested. V'ikad Amri Amar Ihava biyadi sakina v'karanali. If I would have had a knife, I would have chopped him up. Now, Acher dies, and in the Olam HaEmes, they have a big dilemma. What do we do with this guy? On the one hand, he knows Torah, and if you know Torah, you are impervious to the fires of Gehenna. Doesn't matter how big of a rush you are. But on the other hand,
Isn't it worse if you know Torah and you're Russian? It's like you
it is worse.
in the face of Torah.
It is worse. But what happens if you bring poison to somebody and they didn't realize they were drinking it. They thought they were drinking something else. What happens to them? They die. But it's not their fault. Not their fault. When you drink poison, that's the reality. Torah makes you impervious. The Gemara says later that Torah itself is fire. And the Gemara, the end of Maseches Chagigah says, the Gemara learns that from a salamander. Salamander, you can't burn a salamander because it is fire, the Gemara says. So to a Talmid Chacham is impervious to fire. But you can't give him Gan Eden because he's a Rasha. So what do you do with the guy? Well, we're gonna have to make a new place.
In between.
A new place. Mediocre land, I don't know where floaters. Ah, yeah. So what do we do? So
You should call Earth.
says so. What happened? They said, we can't judge him and punish him. We can't bring him to the world to come. We can't judge him because he learned Torah. But we can't bring him to Gan Eden mishum dechata. So what did they do with him? Nothing. They left him in between, in limbo.
Neverland.
Purgatory.
Comes Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Meir is mispalal. The Meir says, please God, punish him so that he could go to Gan Eden.
That he should.
Punish Acher that he should go to Gan Eden.
How did Rabbi know?
How did Rabbi Meir know? When you know, you know. I don't know how he knew. I don't know.
Maybe after he passed away, or
Twitter.
After no, Rabbi Meir is alive now. Rabbi Meir knew. Ruach HaKodesh. Ruach HaKodesh. What? Acher is dead like a doorknob. Yeah? But Rabbi Meir is alive.
What kind of a spadum did they give?
Yeah, right. Says the Gemara, Amar Meir, it was a graveside. Amar Meir, Mutav de Ladaine, Veleise La'amad Ase. better to judge him in Olam Haba, in Gehenna, and then come to Olam Haba. Masai Amos, when Meir says, when can I die already? Va'ala ashan mikivrai, and I will bring up smoke from his kever. In other words, when I die, I will go up there, push him into Gehenna, so that eventually he could go to Gan Eden. Ki nach navshe de Rameir, when Rameir died, solik kutra mikivrei, smoke rose up from the kever to Acher. So that means, as a signal that Rameir was successful, he got Acher out of limbo, he got him to go to Gehenna. Now he's not in Gan Eden yet. He's still going to be burning there for quite some time. But at least Meir was successful that instead of having Acher in limbo, now he pushes him into Gehenna. Comes along Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Whoa, wait a second. It's a big spiel to get your Rebbe into Gehenna. How you can get him out?" So now he's burning. Now he's toasting. He's roasting. He's really.
Were they contemporaries of Yochanan and Meir?
We're going to come to that.
Anywhere near contemporary?
No.
No. So, usually if you're in a Gehenna, I thought there's like...
No. Now you want to know how many... I'll tell you right now. But Meir was a Talmud of Rabbi Akiva. Miyam Shemes Rabbi Akiva Noilad Rebbe, the Gemara in Kedushin says. Rebbe was a Rosh Hashiva for about 2.5 years. After Rebbe was 2 other people, and then Rav Ilfa and someone else, and then after him Rabbi Yochanan was Rosh Hashiva for 90 years. Between the death of Rav Meir and the death of Rabbi Yochanan, it was between 140 and 150 years.
Ouch.
So that means Acher is toasted for about 150 years.
That's a long time.
Is that what he wanted then?
Which means, and we're going to see, had Rabbi Yochanan not schlepped Acher out of Gehenna, he would have still been burning there. Okay, now listen to this.
So in other words, Reb Meir wasn't successful.
No, he was successful. Maybe he would have been there for 200 years, 300, we don't know exact. Eventually he would have gone to Gan Eden. Rabbi Yochanan got him there sooner. Okay? Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Gevurta. Big spiel. It's a feat. Lamikla Rabbi. To burn your Rebbe. Chad hava beinana. V'lei matzinan la'atzulei. There was one among us, and we can't save him. He was among us, and we can't save him. So what does Rabbi Yochanan do? Inakte biyad. If I would grab Acher by the hand, man mirmei leiman, who would take him away from me? Amar, he said, Masai Amos ve'ech be'ashen mikivrei. When will I die, and I'll stop the smoke from his kever? Kinach nafshid Rabbi Yochanan. When Rabbi Yochanan died, pasak kutra mikivrei to Acher. The smoke stopped from the kever of Acher. When Rabbi Yochanan died, the Master said about Rabbi Yochanan, even the guard of Gehenna, now you can imagine how strong the guard of Gehenna must be. Because there are a lot of people there, and they don't want to be there. And they're probably trying to get out. So this guy, the guard of Gehenna, must be some big dude. But Rabbi Yochanan, even the guard of Gehenna doesn't stand in your way when you schlep Acher out of Gehenna. Okay, that was a hesper they gave to Rabbi Yochanan.
Wow.
So he was a big guy then.
That's only, but the Marsha brings down that Acher was definitely Poishe Yisod Begufan, that after 12 months, he says like this. The
sentence was not communicated.
Yeah, the Marsha says, Vaday have Acher Mikla Poishe Yisod Begufan. They say in Rosh Hashanah, Yardim leGehenim v'nidam yir beis chodesh Acher beis chodesh Gufan Kala v'nishmas nisrefes. So Acher, he wasn't coming out after 12 months.
Yeah, but what does it mean, the Shama and the Shrefus mean?
It's not a good thing.
Oh, I mean,
You mean how long? Is it only...
No, does it means that it's completely burnt out and there's no more, nothing to bring to Gan Eden, or is just a continuous type of pain in the Shama?
I don't know.
By the way, we had another shomer in front of Gehenna. I thought Avram was the one who sits there.
Anybody was come out doesn't go, or anybody?
Right. Is Avram the shomer in Gehenna? Avram's the shomer to make sure people don't go in. This we're talking about the shomer to make sure that other people don't come out.
But he has no strength to get to Parsha Yisrael, who might have neither one.
What? The what?
I don't know if have enough strength, even though he might have the meal of Parsha Yisrael.
Maybe. Rabbi Sai, ask you a question. Somebody would come over to you and say, "You need money? I'll give you $1 million. Just gonna cut off your finger. No anesthesia. But then you'll have plastic surgery. It'll be as good as new." Anyone gonna do it? Why not?
Money's not everything in the world.
Money is not everything. There is a rule that pain and gain are not equal. That means, even if technically, on a level of, say, how much does it hurt for on a level of 1 to 10, you say 8, and I give you a benefit. How good is it on a level of 1 to 10? 8. But even though it's 8 and 8, it's not a trade-off. It's not a trade-off. Nobody would accept bad for an equal good. What if I give you $1 billion? I'm not taking anything for pain. Just, it's not worth it. How good must the gain be to accept pain? It's got to be indescribable. Now, how bad is Gehenna? Ramban says,
Pretty bad. Scale of 1 to 10, it's an 11.
It's every moment of Gehenna is equal to all the tsaros of Eov packed into one moment. That's one moment of Gehenna. So, how good must Olam Haba have to be if it was a rachamim for a Meir to be mispalel for Acher? Acher is now in limbo. He's nothing. Think about how great Olam Haba must have to be if it's kedai for Acher to burn for how long? For at least 100, for longer than 150 years. Because had it not been for Rabbi Yochanan, Acher would have still been there. How good must Olam Haba have to be for Acher, for Rameir to daven, have Rachmanus on Acher, put him in Gehenna for 2 centuries, so that just so he could be in Olam Haba. Because this is the point of Isla Patterberg. From this Gemara, you see how unbelievable Olam Haba must have to be. Because in this world, nobody would take gain even 100 times more than the pain. But Olam Haba, the pleasure, the tainug of Olam Haba must be so great that it's kedai to burn in the hottest fires for 150 years just to be zoicha to Olam Haba.
But Acher really didn't care. Right? Didn't mean a lot to him. I mean, in order to make that decision, you have to care and to want.
Maybe once he was there, he cared. Maybe once he was there, he cared.
Oops.
He knew what Gehenna was all about because he learned the Torah. He understood.
Well, once he got, he couldn't.
Him in terms of doing what he did.
Well, he thought it was a lost cause.
Maybe, or we figured 12 months would work.
Yeah, but he was influenced by what he heard Achar Paragraph.
Right.
So what do you want from him? He was an innocent bystander. They wouldn't have said anything. Maybe he would have switched his whole.
Okay, so he said that. No, you shouldn't have listened. Okay. Bitoy shel Acher, the daughter of Acher, Asi l'kamei the Rebbe, came before Rebbe. Amar lei, she said to him, Rebbe Parnaseini, support me. Amar lo, he said to her, Bas miat, who are you? Amar lo, Bitoy shel Acher ani, I'm the daughter of Acher. Amar lo, Adain yesh mizarei ba'olam. Acher has descendants in this world. V'haksiv, but it says, Loi nin loi, the Rasha won't have a child, Loi nechad, ba'amai, will not have a grandchild. In Sarid b'Megurav, there will be no survivors. So Marsha asks, what kind of kash is that Acher has children? There are a lot of Rishon that have. Esav had children. Amalek had children. So Marsha says, no, but Acher is worse than all of them. Because he knew Hashem. He was on the highest level. And then he blew it. That's the biggest Rasha possible. What?
Maybe he had children when we were steiging. But they're not supposed to
No,
survive.
but the pasuk says they're gone. They're out of here. Kares. What?
It's not their fault. It could be his son. If he had a son, it could be a big Talmud Chacham.
But that's the fate of the Russia. Amrullah, she said to him, Zechar l'Torasa v'al tiskar masav. Remember his Torah, don't remember his actions. Yarda eish min hashamayim, miyad immediately. Yarda eish, a fire descended, v'sichsacha safsalei shel Rebbe, and singed the bench of Rebbe. This Torah is the Torah of Acher. Torah is fire, like the pasuk says, miminoi eish das lamai. In other words, Acher's Torah is still powerful. When Rebbe saw this, he was very moved by it. Bacha v'yamar Rebbe, uma lemizganim ba'kach. If this is the power of the Torah of those who are embarrassed of their Torah, lemishtabchin ba, for those who take pride in their Torah, alachas kama kama, imagine how powerful their Torah must be.
Was his daughter as wicked as him?
No.
So why is he judging her based on what her father's actions? I thought we don't do that.
He's not judging her. He asked her, he came in front of Rebbe. She said, give me parnasa. He said, who are you? Why is he asking who you are? Well, there are limited supplies. Maybe a Bas Kohen comes before a Bas Levi, Bas Talmud Chacham comes before. So he wants to know, who are you? He said, I'm daughter of Acher. So he said, what? Acher still has descendants?
Yeah, but so I'm saying, why would he question that? I mean, Acher's descendants are not responsible for their father. If they follow his ways, I can understand.
He doesn't believe it. He says, how is it possible? Don't lie to me, right? You're using false ID. You're not the daughter of Acher. How can Acher have Talmidim, descendants in this world?
Well, why would somebody falsely claim to come from Acher?
What?
If you're going to make a false claim,
maybe her claim was, I'm the daughter of a Talmud Chacham. You got to give me food. So Meir says, not that kind of Talmud Chacham. Okay, let's just say the next line. The Rabbi Meir, Heichi Gamar Torah mipumei da'acher. How could Rabbi Meir learn Torah from Acher? Amar Rabba bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Mai dechsiv. It's a pasuk in Malachi. The pasuk says, Ki sifsei kohen yishmeru das. The lips of the kohen preserve knowledge. The Torah yivakshu mipiu. Torah you will seek from his mouth. Ki malach Hashem tzavakaisu. From which we learn, Im doimeh harav l'malach Hashem tzavakais. If the Rav is like a malach, yivakshu Torah mipiu, then you can learn Torah from him. The Gemara understands this mean, if he's righteous like a malach, then he's worthy to learn Torah from. V'im lav, but otherwise, if he's a rasha, al yivakshu Torah mipiu. Doesn't matter how clearly he explains, doesn't matter how deep his understanding is. His maisim, his actions need to live up to what he learns. Otherwise, you shouldn't learn from here. Meir found the pasuk in Darshan. Pasuk says, "Had oznacha, incline your ear, ushma divrei chachamim, listen to the words of the wise. V'libcha tashis ladaiti, and your heart placed to my das. Ladaitam loinemar ela ladaiti." Don't listen to their opinion. That means we're talking even about Rishon, but listen to my das and ignore their actions. Okay, and we'll elaborate on that, Mitzvah Shamur, next time.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.